The chamber smelled like ionized stone and cold authority. Commander Elias Wren stepped off the Lev platform, boots clicking against ancient obsidian tiles that had witnessed 5,000 years of diplomacy, conquest, and quiet betrayals. Overhead, the council dome shimmered, a swirling ceiling of starlight projections updated in real time from every known system. Beneath it, 300 alien delegates shifted in anticipation. Slithering, twitching, humming. And at the center sat the arch-primarch himself, Velker Zuthril, clad in crimson exorobes threaded with neural silk. He was smiling. Elias didn't return the gesture. "Human emissary," the chamber aide announced, her multi-frequency voice laced with protocol, "you have been granted audience." One sentence. "Speak, and let the record show Earth's intentions." Elias gave a slight nod. "Not yet." The walk from the platform to the speaker's circle took exactly 47 measured steps. He counted each one. Deliberately slow. He wasn't here to match the council's rhythm. He was here to break it. Velker's voice boomed as Elias approached. "Earth has come far. It is curious. 5 centuries ago, your species tore itself apart over mineral rights. Today, you bring a representative to stand among empires." Laughter echoed from several sectors. Polite. Arrogant. Elias stopped just outside the circle. "You've read our history," Elias said, voice calm. "You should read what comes after." Velker's smile thinned. "Oh, we have. Nuclear standoffs. AI rebellions. Biocollapses. You're clever, certainly. But dangerous." "So are all apex species," Elias replied. "You're just better at hiding it." A murmur passed through the chamber. A few delegates tilted their heads, some insectoid, some crystalline, some without heads at all. Elias scanned them briefly. The Kurthani, telepathic collectivists, were still. The Ogros Union, a war-born species, leaned forward. The Silari blinked rapidly, their translators struggling to interpret sarcasm. Good. He'd read every file before arrival. He'd memorized posture tells, blink rates, subsonic threat cues. Earth had spent 30 years preparing this moment. Not to beg. To speak. Once. Velker's tone darkened. "We expected supplication. Instead, you bring defiance." "I bring intention," Elias said. Velker gestured, heavy sleeves rustling. "Then by the law of voice, speak your sentence." The chamber fell into a pressurized hush. Atmospheres adjusted. Eyes, visible and otherwise, turned toward the lone human standing inside a coliseum of galactic power. Elias took one breath. Only one. He looked not at Velker, but at the council. And then he said it. "We counted how many of you we could kill before we even left orbit." A single beat of silence. Then the chamber exploded. Several delegates shrieked, whether in rage or fear, it wasn't clear. The Kurthani broke mental formation, a rare event. Velker rose from his throne, robe flaring. "What did you say?" he barked. "What madness is this?" Elias stood unmoving. "You heard me." A delegate from the Iridari collective, a luminous being of pure energy, pulsed erratically. "Is that a threat, human?" "No," Elias said. "It's a fact." Velker slammed a fist against his podium. "Withdraw that statement, or be sanctioned. This is not diplomacy, it's provocation." Elias' expression didn't change. That sentence was approved by Earth's Joint Council. Drafted with intent. Voted unanimously. The room recoiled at the implication. Velker's face twisted in disbelief. "You planned this. You came here, to frighten us." "No," Elias replied. "We came to remind you." The silence that followed wasn't just disbelief. It was calculation. Beneath every robe, chitin plate, and neural membrane, something shifted. The Silari delegate finally spoke, translator voice trembling. "Remind us of what?" Elias turned to face them fully. That we understand violence. We understand restraint. But most of all, we understand fear. Yours. The air in the chamber thickened. A few delegates disconnected their auditory links. One walked out. Velker regained composure with mechanical grace. You've made your sentence. And now you will leave, under guard. Elias nodded. As expected. He turned and began the same 47-step walk toward the exit. But now the rhythm was different. Behind him, voices erupted, some angry, others uncertain. Data links blinked alive. The Krathani had already begun mental simulations. Somewhere, a species no one had thought important began broadcasting Earth's sentence on encrypted channels. As Elias stepped onto the Lev platform, the aide tried to whisper something, perhaps a warning, perhaps a plea. He didn't answer. Above them, the galactic map shimmered again, stars blinking, shifting, aligning. Earth wasn't on it yet. But it would be. Commander Elias Wren sat alone in the orbital holding suite assigned to all departing envoys. The walls shimmered with slow pulses of amber light, a standard calming protocol used for diplomats. He didn't need calming. He needed silence. And the galaxy was failing to give it to him. From the wall behind him, his tablet flickered to life again. 12 missed messages in the last 5 minutes. All encrypted. All from species that hadn't spoken to Earth in centuries, or ever. A buzz from the wall console. A voice followed, flat but forced. This is Liaison Officer Trenvok of the Veltraxis Security Bureau. You are requested, politely, for debriefing. Immediately. Elias remained seated. I was promised passage within the hour. Another pause. That was before you declared interstellar psychological warfare. Elias closed his eyes. Tell your masters I'm not retracting anything. And I'm not explaining it. The channel closed without response. He stood. Not from agitation, but because he didn't want to be sitting when the next message came. It did. This one bore the seal of the Ogros Alliance, a war-born, cybernetic species notorious for their disdain of diplomacy. Message. We have long respected directness. You speak like a commander, not a politician. Earth will find an ally in us. Say the word. Elias smiled faintly. They weren't the first. The Silari sent a query an hour earlier. What does Earth want in return for protection? As if Earth had fleets stationed beyond every star, not still scrambling to maintain lunar colonies. He opened a secure relay and transmitted a simple response, we'll talk soon. Stay silent for now. Across the station, the council was in uproar. Delegates were calling emergency sessions. Velker's internal bloc was splintering. Several members had already logged official protests against the Primarch's handling of the hearing. Rumors swirled of shadow pacts, sudden trade freezes, and late-night fleet repositioning. All from one sentence. Elias walked to the viewport. The curve of Veltraxis Prime gleamed below, golden clouds, metallic oceans, and fortress cities etched like scars across the surface. A planet built to impress. Or intimidate. He tapped his earpiece. Mara, status? His aide responded instantly. Shuttles ready. But Earth Command has new orders. He didn't ask. He waited. They say remain another 12 hours. No movement. See who contacts us next. Understood. He didn't love the plan. But he understood it. Earth wasn't in a hurry. That was the point. They had delivered the blow. Now they needed to let it echo. A chime. Another message. This time from a Krathani cluster node. The text flickered in his mind's eye. We felt your sentence. It created dissonance in our shared field. That has never happened before. We do not know what you are. We wish to learn. He replied with just 2 words, not yet. The point wasn't to make allies. Not now. The point was to become the variable no one could calculate. Suddenly, his door hissed open. No alert. No request. Velker Zuthril entered without ceremony. Elias didn't flinch. Surprised you came in person. The Primarch's crimson robe shimmered with active defense runes. His face, though composed, bore cracks. Not literal ones, but small tells. Shallow blinking. Delayed breath cycles. Do you understand, Velker said, voice clipped, what you've done? Elias turned from the viewport. Completely. You've destabilized centuries of equilibrium. Our alliances are shifting. Factions are questioning Council credibility. Earth will be sanctioned. No, Elias said, Earth will be watched. That was the goal. Velker stepped forward. You have no fleets capable of war with us. No economy to sustain prolonged tension. Yet you project as if you do. That's the mistake everyone makes, Elias replied. You measure power in ships and shields. We measure it in consequences. The Primarch's hands curled into fists, slow and mechanical. We gave you a seat. We offered you legitimacy. No, Elias corrected. You gave us a stage. We brought the script. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Velker said, You've made enemies. We were never short on those. And allies? Elias looked back at the starfield. That depends on who's still awake tomorrow. Velker left. No threats. No promises. Just quiet fury, like a black hole in the shape of a man. When the door sealed again, Elias finally sat down. His hands weren't shaking. He wasn't replaying the sentence. He'd said it exactly as planned. Not a syllable out of place. He activated the final line of Earth's diplomatic relay, a signal piggybacked onto the moment he spoke in the council chamber. One that had been silently listening for reactions from all connected systems. It had recorded 37 species initiating defensive subroutines. 15 initiated war prep simulations. 9 flagged Earth as a Tier Alpha threat, on par with entities older than light. And 3 requested non-aggression pacts. Voluntarily. All in under an hour. Elias whispered to the darkroom, not for effect, but because it felt appropriate. Let them fear silence more than war. 3 days had passed. None of the council chambers had reopened. For the first time in Valtraxis Prime's recorded history, the Galactic Concord suspended all plenary sessions. Officially, they called it structural reevaluation. Unofficially, no one knew what to say. And worse, no one trusted who might be listening. Elias Wren stood aboard Earth's diplomatic cruiser Vigilant Whisper, watching the Council's palace shrink behind the forward viewport. Its grand towers, once symbols of ancient unity, now looked like relics from a more naive time. His hands rested calmly behind his back. There was no ceremony. No anthem. Just quiet departure. He turned to his aide, Mara, who stood reviewing messages on a translucent display hovering in the air. Her expression was unreadable, which meant the news was bad or better than expected, never in between. Report, Elias said. She didn't look up. 13 new communications in the last hour. 6 invitations for private alliances. 1 offer to host Earth's diplomatic relay network across neutral systems. 3 military data exchanges, and 1 from the Kirthani. What do they want now? They've suspended neural bonding sessions. Say the psychic noise has become intolerable. Elias raised a brow. They mean fear. She nodded. Yes. Silence hung between them a moment longer, before she added, also, Velker Zuthril resigned 2 hours ago. He didn't react immediately. Then, publicly? No, Mara said. But it's spreading. Several of his known loyalists have already been replaced. The Silari, the Ogros, and the Threnal Combine have proposed a new interim council speaker. Anyone human? She paused. They included Earth. Not to lead. But to vote. Elias gave a small breath of a laugh. 3 days ago, we were still petitioners. Now, she asked. He turned back to the viewport. Now we're the unknown. The most dangerous piece on the board is always the one no one understands. Mara looked at him carefully. And are we dangerous, sir? No, Elias said, voice steady. But it's useful that they think we are. On Veltraxis, the fallout wasn't playing out in public view. It never did. But behind locked diplomatic vaults, species once bound by iron treaties now question those bonds. Not aloud, but through silence, hesitation, delayed confirmations. And in galactic politics, a delay was often louder than a shout. An intercepted message from the Sarthal, an aquatic deep-thought race known for their glacial patience, confirmed the shift. Human cognition exceeds our forecasted models. Reassessment required. It was the closest they had ever come to saying, we underestimated you. Earth's defense networks had seen a surge of pinged scans from remote sectors, quietly mapping orbital assets. That was expected. The unexpected part was how many of those scans were followed by coded requests for peaceful intelligence sharing. Some of Earth's analysts had assumed this mission would end in mockery. Or conflict. What they hadn't considered, what Elias had counted on, was the most likely reaction from ancient powers when faced with uncertainty. Paranoia. Later that evening, Elias joined a private channel with Earth Command. The screen remained dark. No faces. Only voices. You've triggered the response perfectly, said one. Our predictive models clocked species instability rising by 37% within 72 hours. Another voice cut in. Female. Older. We've received indirect confirmation that 6 species downgraded Veltraxis security clearance levels. They're afraid of espionage. They should be, Elias said. Any regrets? The first voice asked. Elias didn't answer immediately. Then, no. But this isn't over. They're still waiting for us to make the second move. And we won't, said the woman. We've already made it. We became the threat without firing a shot. Another pause. We'll begin reinforcing our outer relay stations. Quietly. Expand signal triangulation in case of preemptive strikes. Let them waste energy, Elias said. We haven't done anything. That's what keeps them awake. The line clicked off. No goodbyes. No names. Back on the Vigilant Whisper, Elias walked the narrow corridor leading to the observation deck. He liked the silence up there. No AI prompts. No holopads. Just stars, millions of them, watching back without judgment. Mara caught up with him before he reached the door. Message for you. Came coded through a tertiary relay. Not standard channels. Origin? She hesitated. Unknown. But I ran a comparison. The syntax matches the Cythery Dominion. Valkyr's species. Elias took the small tablet from her and tapped it. The message was short. You spoke once. And the galaxy fell quiet. But silence breeds strategy. We are still listening. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Prepare a response, he said. What should I write? He looked at her. Nothing. That night, as the Vigilant Whisper moved into a cold drift beyond Veltraxis moons, Elias sat alone under the stars. One sentence had shattered centuries of control. Not through threat. Not through war. Just precision. No repetition. No clarifications. No explanations. Because in a galaxy of endless declarations, treaties, and endless noise, the humans spoke only once. And no one had slept since.